Maxton Hall has started its second season with its usual drama and tension, and it already took my breath away. With all the struggles James is going through and the distance between him and Ruby, we've entered a darker Maxton Hall than ever before. But will this tension continue throughout the season? Well, I've got some good and bad news for you. So, if you're ready, let's talk about what happened in the first 3 episodes and what we might see in episode 4. First of all, I want to talk about how the season began. As you know, season 1 ended shockingly with the death of James and Lydia's mother, Cordelia, and we saw that James couldn't control himself. In this season, we started by seeing James completely lost, and honestly, I was devastated seeing him in such a bad state, especially when he saw Ruby at the pool but still kissed that other girl. I swear, I felt ice water pouring down my back. After that, even though Ruby learned about Cordelia's death and James expressed his regret to Ruby, Ruby made a very smart move by distancing herself from him so that he could fix himself. I know, it's a really brave and difficult move because you're basically breaking up with your one true love. But considering the results, I have to say it worked pretty well. Because after starting therapy, we saw James suddenly becoming a more caring person toward Ruby and those around him. He completely erased the image of his father's be strong, be tough idea that stuck with him since childhood and started to express his emotions to people. For me, that arrogant, rich boy image from the first episode of the first season completely disappeared, and in its place came an angel of a man. Now let's take a look at the other side of the relationship, Ruby. Honestly, Ruby is such a successful and good person that it's really hard for things to go wrong for her. She got accepted into her dream school, Oxford, and despite all the setbacks, she organized an amazing event again. And now I really believe that after all the progress James has made, they will get close again. I'll share the details of that closeness in a bit, but before that, I want to talk about Lydia. Honestly, one of the best parts of this season was seeing Lydia getting much closer to Ruby. After finding out she was pregnant with twins, Ruby never left her side, and Lydia fit perfectly into Ruby's circle, creating a wonderful comfort character for us. Everything looks great for Lydia right now, but I think starting from episode 4, things will start getting tougher for her too. So, let's take a look at what might happen in episode 4. First, I want to start with James because after he shared his situation and struggles at the event, his father got really angry and took James away from the event immediately. And I think this separation will continue. Imagine that you have been trying to raise your child to look strong since childhood, and suddenly he admits to everyone that he's struggling. For a strict and obsessive father like Mortimer, that's absolutely unacceptable. So I think Mortimer will do everything he can to keep James away from the public eye. But will he succeed in replacing him with Lydia? That's a big question mark because Lydia's pregnancy will become more visible every day. And can you even imagine what it means for an unmarried high school student to be pregnant? So, starting from episode 4, we might actually witness the downfall of the Beaufort family. Now, if you're wondering whether true love can overcome all these obstacles, my answer is yes, because even though Mortimer will try to keep James locked away, Ruby will find a way to see him. Considering how much James helped her during the event and how he started therapy and began valuing himself just for Ruby, I believe Ruby will realize that James is the right person for her, and she will do everything she can to see him and be with him. That's why I think the only way for James to escape Mortimer's control will be Ruby somehow convincing Maxton Hall to bring James back to school. But can all these problems really be solved that easily? Probably not. Because unfortunately, Lydia is facing a much harder path ahead. You know that James had promised to help Cyril, but when Ruby needed help, James didn't hesitate for a second and went to help Ruby, leaving Cyril hanging. Since winning the match was Cyril's only chance to get into Oxford, and he couldn't win without James, his Oxford dream will be completely shattered. So, how might he take revenge? My guess is, unfortunately, through James's twin sister, Lydia. You know Cyril has feelings for Lydia, but he doesn't know she's pregnant. Once he finds out, he might report it to the school, putting both Graham and Lydia in serious trouble. He'll probably also want to hurt James and Ruby, but I'm not sure how he'll do that. So, what do you think? Are we really heading into a dark era at Maxton Hall, or are brighter days ahead, just like I'm about to talk about next? Let's meet in the comments. And of course, those brighter days will begin with Ruby and James. As long as they're together and happy, the whole atmosphere of the show will completely change. But I also want to remind you about another source of happiness, Ember. She's so ready to enjoy the fruits of those amazing dresses she designed, because Ruby wore that dress beautifully and told everyone it was designed by Ember, giving her the best kind of publicity. Thanks to that, I think we'll see Ember finally starting her dream career as a fashion designer. And let's not forget about the new love she found too. Also, if we think about Ruby going to Oxford and Ember starting her fashion career, we can definitely say that the Bell family is heading toward wonderful days. Alright, now it's your turn. What do you think will happen in episode 4 of Maxton Hall? Let's meet in the comments. In the meantime, if you want to know what could happen in season 4 of Ginny and Georgia, check out this video.